Hello, everyone. Welcome to Off the Rails. I can't believe it. We're back again for another season. A lot of people didn't think we'd be back this year, but we are. And Malcolm Johnston is looking better and fatter than ever. Welcome.
Thank you, Radley. It's very nice to be back.
And of course, we are broadcasting live from the famous Ellerslie Racecourse here in Auckland, New Zealand, for our first show back. And someone put us in the kennel. I believe it was Ron Duffy. He put us in the kennel for having our first show back in this wonderful city.
Well, you know, that's just totally unfair. And I think our show now, we should have an outhouse and a penthouse.
Right.
And
Duffy's going in the
outhouse.
Right.
Yeah, he can go in the outhouse, and I'll give it to him when I get back.
Yeah.
But what an absolutely beautiful racecourse this is.
It is. Auckland Cup tomorrow.
Big day.
The famous Auckland Cup. They've had the
Couple
Derby.
of Aussie runners.
Yeah.
Yeah, which will be fantastic.
Byron Baker's bringing one back.
Byron.
And Gay Waterhouse will be here.
Yes.
And they've already had the Derby, and we'll have the Derby-winning jockey on the show here today, Michael Walker.
What a roll-up of guests.
It's great.
This is our busiest show. I don't think we've ever had 4 guests on Off the Rails before, and it's fantastic. My turn. It's fantastic that Corey Brown's photo's been taken.
Oh, isn't that good?
How good is that?
It's just you and me.
Yeah,
it's just you and me.
I look really happy, and yours is one of those false smiles.
Yeah, that didn't work. It got no laughs in the pre-show, and it got no laughs in the actual show. Now, you might remember, I was away, so I didn't get to see this, and I still haven't seen it. But there was an earthquake here in New Zealand going back in January, and at the same time, there was a dog race. And it's gone viral, what happened. And the man who called that race is here with us today, Mark Rosanowski, who's joining us on stage right now. Welcome, Mark. Welcome.
Gentlemen.
Hey, mate.
You have called through an earthquake.
Yeah.
I have called through an earthquake.
Mate, what's going on? Why didn't you run? Seriously.
I'll tell you why, Malcolm. And if you saw the stand that we call in at Manawatu Raceway, the best place for me was to be on top of it. Because the stairs leading up to it, they're rickety. A lad like me could easily slip through. And there were 4 of us up there, and not one of us thought about going anywhere.
Well, can we have a look at, before we get you to tell the story, can we have a look at the Mark calling through the earthquake?
Everything's shaking here, I'm afraid. Looks like we might have a bit of an earthquake going on here, a very big earthquake, in fact. We've got a very large earthquake going here. The race is underway here. Unfortunately, the monitor's fallen on me, but I've managed to pick it up. I can tell you Al Jetta's in front here. I'm not going to be able to do much of a call of this race. Coming out after it there would have been Boston Chanel, who's going to be tough to beat as they come around the corner. Squeezing through on the inside is Crush Monkey. We're still shaking here. Crush Monkey driving through on the inside. It's going to score from, I think, Al Jetta, and just in between runs there to Boston Chanel.
Okay. I've got a lot of questions to ask you.
I still want to know what you're doing, even thinking about calling the race.
Well, I probably wouldn't have, except the monitor fell on me, as you could hear, and it sort of wedged between the shoulder and the desk. And I looked down and I saw our cameraman, Shane Catterall. To start with, as you could see, the camera went straight up in the air, as you'd expect. Then somehow he managed to train the camera back on the greyhounds. And when I looked down at the monitor, I thought, well, there is a race going on, and I'm a commentator.
Yeah, but they're pretty serious things, earthquakes. Well, like, it's not like someone dropped a glass of water or anything. It's an earthquake.
I'd hate to think that we're getting used to earthquakes in New Zealand, but you know we've had a pretty bad run, obviously, and we're very mindful of what happened in Christchurch and what can happen in an earthquake. But I think when you're in the middle of it, there was no clarity of thought.
No.
There was a greyhound race. I'm paid to call the greyhounds. The cameraman was doing his job, and the worst thing is, and this is the only race of mine that I'll call that'll get played, 4,000 times. I called the wrong dog first.
Oh, so that's what you're cranky about.
That's what I'm cranky about. And thankfully, the TAB did the only thing they could do, and that was, refund all bets on the race. But I went for the inside dog, which was Crushed Monkey. Now, how apt would that have been? Surely in an earthquake, Crushed Monkey, which is what I thought I was going to be. He wins the race. And I still wonder whether they got it right. I mean, to be fair, the judge was sort of sprawled on a desk when they crossed the line. So
I would have been under the desk.
What? Just tell me the cameraman's name.
Shane Catterall.
Well, he deserves a gold medal because he found the dogs. I don't know how he found the dogs after he was...
I have no idea either. Yeah. And as I say, if I hadn't sort of... I don't know what I expected the dogs to be doing, but they just go out and chase a bunny.
They chase, yeah.
Apparently, you know, the ground's going like this. That's what the handlers were saying out in the middle. But the dog that actually won it, not the one that I called, ran within a tenth of a second of his fastest ever time. Because we've got electronic timing on it. So he ran sweet. He ran up to his potential.
That's what happens when you're scared. You run faster.
If I had been the race caller, you know how fast I would have got out of that box.
You be hard. You would have run.
Perfect excuse to get out of the joint.
Yeah.
But you had to stay there. That is...
But it would have been pretty hard to run.
I don't know if there's an earthquake, idiot.
You're grabbing onto something.
You kind of feel like... It felt like we were sort of surfing, you know? And the other three guys that were up there with me, they sort of said the same afterwards. It's like, you're on top of everything. You kind of feel like that's actually the place to be. Yeah. And if everything comes down, well, you go with it, but you're on top. And
did you sustain any injuries? Where did the TV come from? Was it bolted to the wall?
Second shelf and it came down. No injuries. It's sort of wedged between
compo?
there and there. No compo. Oh. No. In fact, we called with two more races.
Yeah.
There was a non-tote race. We did the non-tote race. It's just the way we roll. And no matter what turns.
Now, stay with us because I want you to stay on for this. I've got a little surprise for you.
What?
I didn't tell you this was going to happen.
No, that'd be right.
Being in New Zealand, I thought it might be good if you could learn the haka.
What do you mean if I could learn the haka? I see it on TV and it frightens the crap out of me, all right?
Well, what happens if we get a big Maori up here to show you how to do it properly?
Well,
Mark,
I don't...
I know you've called through an earthquake. This could be a little bit scarier.
It could be scarier. And I'm not the big Maori.
No, but we do have...
I'll work that out.
We do have New Zealand's #1 caller, George Simon, who'll be
George.
calling the Auckland Cup tomorrow here to teach you how to do the haka. Welcome, George.
Hey, Big George.
Hey, mate, all right?
Very good.
I've got something for you to work with here. Is it possible, and I want to be culturally sensitive here, is it appropriate that you could teach him how to do the haka?
I think in the spirit of the invitation, I think we can certainly do something, but he needs a lot of work. I've just realised...
Oh, thanks very much, George.
I just realised what a champion Kingston Town is listening to this bloke for half an hour.
Thanks for that, George.
Now, just tell it, what is the haka for people who don't know the significance of
Well,
it?
the first thing I want to tell you, Greg, and a miracle is the fact that it's not a haka, it's a haka. It's a haka.
Sounds like something you eat.
And basically what it is, it's a war chant. It's something that you do prior to going into war. That's why everybody's seen the All Blacks do the haka.
It's scary.
And they've taken it to a new level. It's very scary.
Sure, I don't.
Very scary. But they've taken it to a new level. The haka was probably not treated with the respect that it deserved earlier on in the day, back in the day. Yeah. But since a bloke called Buck Shelford got involved with the All Blacks, they've really done it properly, and it's great to see it.
I think you've got to call the Auckland Cup tomorrow, 3,200 metres. This might be a good pipe opener for you too. Hey? Just clear the lungs a bit.
Clear the lungs a bit?
What do you reckon?
Why do I have to learn it?
How?
I'm the littlest bloke in the room. I'm not going to scare anyone. What, mate? What in a big...
If he was leading us into war, we are buggered. You know that, You know that.
Well, I tell you what, if I was leading you into war, George, the only place you get shot is in the butt. I promise you, and that's from running.
All right. Okay, we're going to just clear the decks a little bit so you've got a bit of room.
I've got to let you in a little secret too on the way up, because I got so much notice about doing this.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I had.
By the way, we told George 10 minutes before the show started that he was doing this.
I had to actually learn the words to the haka and the actions as well. So this is
YouTube, was it, George?
Yeah, YouTube. Thank you, Mr. Human Javelin here.
Okay.
Human javelin.
We've got no idea.
So you taught me everything I know, George, except they had to call them an earthquake. You missed that
No
out.
idea how this is going to go.
Isn't it funny that race callers come in all shapes and sizes here in New Zealand?
Good idea.
Okay, George, take it
Now,
away.
we've got to treat this with a little bit of respect.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah,
So the first thing you do, I want to ask you this very simple question, Malcolm.
Yes.
Miracle.
Yes.
If you're going into war, are you dressed like that?
No.
No, exactly. So what we need to do is to get into the culturally sensitive side of things. Get it off, brother. Get it off.
What?
Get it off.
He's taking his shirt off.
Get it off.
He's taking his shirt.
Take it off.
Get it off.
No, last time I took my shirt off.
I'm out.
Last time I took my shirt off, someone said I should have been
What?
Get it off.
a pre-model for a breast. No, I'm scared, mate.
I'm scared of it.
Come on, take his time.
I'm scared of it. You do not go into war dressed like that.
I got no colour.
You know what? Hang on. You know what? I'd do exactly as he says.
And you know what? I was just checking to see if I had my singlet on. No.
All right.
Is this going to take long?
Nah. George, for this, we've got all night.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
It's cold, mate. Right, good on you,
This
George.
is good, George.
Now, the other thing you got to do, I'll teach you two things.
Okay.
Teach you two things. When I say pūkana, a pūkana, you see Michael Walker when he's poking the tongue out, it's called a pūkana.
Right.
So when I say pūkana, I want you to do that. Go, practice. Pūkana.
Pūkana.
Yeah, go, no. Don't say it. Do it.
Oh.
When I say...
I'm taking the glasses off.
When I say pūkana, I want you to just go, poke the tongue out, and do that, exactly that. When I just say pūkana, just poke your tongue out.
Okay, beautiful.
Say pūkana. Pūkana. Down Aussies! All right, so here we go.
Okay. So we're just going to have a bit of a practice, then we're going to do the real thing. So
I got to have practice?
you need to know the moves.
Yeah. The moves, okay, yeah. The moves, these are
that's
my
good.
moves, okay? So I'll do this introduction bit and then you go,
I've got to get some colours.
yeah. Then you go, ka kite, and go, woo. So that's first. Like that. Then I'll go, Inga pakia. Then you go that,
Yeah, pakia.
don't say the words, just go actions.
Oh, okay.
Then I'll say, pūkana. Pūkana, go. Then strut around, and then strut around as well. Yeah, pretty wiggle, yeah! Back there. And then we'll do the rest.
Okay, good.
We're done.
That's
And just
easy.
follow my actions. Okay, so we go. Wait. There we go. So they all back.
Now, you're very good at the tongue thing. You're very good at
There
it.
you go. So
Follow him.
I'll stand behind you. Okay, so you're in front. I'm the All Black captain. All right, so we're out on the stage, on the field. Pommies, the Aussies are over there.
Where's Aussie?
Just over there.
Running. We go. So we go. Ka kite, kamu. Pūkana. Strut around. Yeah. Inga pakia. Stomp. Oh, kamate, koro. Oh, tenete, tangata. Ururara. Iti mafaka fititera.
Can we cut that out? Sorry, George. Keep going.
Right in mid-flow.
I can't see what you're doing.
I know. I'm not doing anything.
Come
I'm
back.
just watching
Come back.
you.
Come back and watch him.
Then they go like this, then like this. They go, gotta start again.
How about if we bring the real audio up so you've got a bit of backing?
Yes.
Can we play that? Here we go. Very quick. Georgie, that was fantastic. That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. George is going to teach Malcolm to waltz during the break, so stay with us. We'll be back with more in a moment. I didn't participate in that, but I'm sweating.
Yeah, I was pretty good one.
You were very good, yeah. Can we have another big hand for George Simon for what he just did? Thank you, George. You'll never forget that.
I'd like a bit of knowledge about it next time. I'd like you to sort of, so I can,
If I'd given you notice, would you have done it?
No.
Well, that's why I didn't give you notice.
Poor preparation leads to poor performance.
Right.
And I need preparation.
Well,
I could have toned up and done that.
When
better.
you're under pressure, you just go ahead and do your job, just like Mark did when he called through the earthquake.
You were not under pressure. You didn't have to take your shirt off and do it.
Mark called through an earthquake. All you had to do was do the haka with George, and you got through it beautifully. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes our next guest.
Stephen McKee is recognised as one of New Zealand's finest horse trainers, with victories in major races on both sides of the Tasman and even conquering the Hong Kong Mile.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Steve McKee. Can I just say, the first thing we did when we got here today, we went and saw the Sunline statue, and it is absolutely beautiful. And your wife sculpted the head of Sunline, which we can see right there. That is at the back of the grandstand here at Ellerslie.
Yeah, that's right. Fiona did that, and the old girl's buried here, so it was the closest track we had to home, so it was great.
How long did it take her to do that?
Probably 18 months all up. Yeah, a bit of time doing a few pre-models and until she came up with the final project.
Have you any other talent, or are you just a great horse trainer and that's it? You can't do any sculpting or anything?
No, I can't do the haka either.
Oh, how good was I? Yeah,
You're
it
pretty
scared
good,
you a bit, eh?
How did he go, Steve? No, truly.
Pretty good all in all. Yeah, great tongue work. I thought Michael Walker might have added to it if he had been up here, but
I've got to get some colours there.
You'll get them on later.
You must miss her though, Sunline. I mean, she should have been around for a lot longer.
She should have been. She had a great career as far as longevity went. Unfortunately, she didn't live long enough to have an enjoyable life after that. But unlike Malcolm, I've moved on. I can't stay with the one horse forever, so I've moved on.
Yeah. See that? You've got to move on, mate.
I can't get over my bloke. I can't get over it.
You don't want to?
No.
But what is it like, life after Sunline? Mufasa come along?
Yeah, I was lucky enough probably 6 or 7 years later to get Mufasa, who, he ended up winning 20 races and 10 Group 1s. So, you're always on the lookout for another one of those good horses, though. You keep, while you're in while that's your career, you're always looking for the next one.
Yeah. I think when she came over to Australia, Sunline, we knew she was pretty good, but we didn't... Oh, is this Mufasa, is it? We're going to talk about... We'll go back to Sunline in a moment. It took him a while to get that Group 1 in Australia, but he kept on coming over and then going back and winning more Group 1s, but finally we got to see him at his best in Australia. You Kiwis knew all about him. You knew how good he was, obviously.
Yeah, he's a really top flight horse, and he raced without a lot of luck in the earlier years in Australia too. Both Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane for that matter.
Yeah.
Drew the outside in the Stradbroke and was only just beaten. So yeah, he was always a top line horse, and took us a while to get it right, but he finally did.
Yeah, and this was the Toorak when he did it, which is always a great race, the Toorak. It is a race for good horses, and today was his day. This was his big moment.
Yeah, and he carried top weight and beat a couple of Peter Moody horses here, which were in good form. So it was great to see him finally crack it.
He won 10 Group 1s.
Yeah, 8 here and 2 in Australia. Yeah.
Just let's talk a bit more about Sunline. She comes to Australia, and we think she's pretty good. You knew she was pretty good, but how good did you think she was when you brought her over the first time?
Yeah, well, we were testing the water a little bit. It's always hard when you bring a young 3-year-old over coming off New Zealand winter form to how they're going to match up in the spring. And from the time she landed in Australia, she just bloomed and got better and better.
I think Thane Green's here, the owner. Where's Thane?
Thane is here, yeah.
There he is. And Trev's there too. How are you, Trev? Good to see you. Thanks for coming. How's the old man?
He's good, yeah. He's still helping out and doing a bit of manual at home and at the races, so we're keeping on top of him.
You just boss him around now?
Yeah, it's just sort of switched around.
Still whinging? Yeah. The old man still whinging?
Well, it never stops, does it?
No wonder they shut him right up the back.
That's right.
I have, from the first time I ever came to Ellerslie, I just fell in love with the racetrack. I think it is the most beautiful racetrack anywhere in the world. It's a very special race course. It's undulating. Just tell us a little bit about the track here, because past the winning post there's a hill, and then down the back, I'm not talking about the jumps hill.
It's not just a little hill.
Yeah.
It's a massive rise.
But then there's another rise up the back straight.
You're probably better asking one of the jockeys coming on later, but yeah, it's undulating. They've got a lot to look at from when they turn for home as well. Big hill at the end of the course, and you know, uphill and round a tight corner, and there's also a good corner at just past the 1200 metres that drops and turns, and then of course we've got the steeplechase course, which is you know, the big hill up at the back. And
what did you think of that when you first saw it?
Oh, it's amazing. Even the enclosure. There's a rise in the enclosure. Oh, what is this place?
Hills everywhere.
But it's the most picturesque racecourse you'd ever want to see. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's great. Right in the heart of the city, just about, and yeah, there's not many better around the world, you're right.
The Sunline Vase is tomorrow. It hasn't been going that long. What, 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, it's 3 or 4 years. Might be the 5th year even tomorrow. And started off with another name, but it's now called the Sunline Vase.
And you've got a chance to win it.
Yeah, I've got the favourite, or I think she'll be favourite, a filly called Mozoon. She's won the last 3 in a row, and yeah, we're testing her for stamina tomorrow, and if she handles that, she can go on to the Oaks.
So she's gone 1400 a mile, 1800, and then goes 2100 tomorrow. This is a prep race down south at New Plymouth, and 1800 metres this day, and she finished the race off really well. She's got a good turn of foot, so she's a nice filly. What price is she now for the Oaks?
I think she's about $9 or $10. Yeah,
Right.
she opened at $101.
$101.
So it sounds like you took some of that.
I took some of it the day that she dislodged Sam Spratt here, actually to start before the 3 wins, and Sam fell off, and she was 18 to 1 that day, and so my money went sprawling with Sam on the track, unfortunately.
And you've got a runner in the Cup, Chaperone?
Yeah, Chaperone. Yeah, she ran 3rd in the race last year, and you know, probably form's a little bit mixed this year, but she's in good touch now, and hoping for a little bit of rain, which we probably won't get, but you know, she'll run the trip. That's half of the battle.
They keep saying there's Aussies coming for the Cup, but there's not really. It's Travolta's a Kiwi, and Bjorn's coming back. Well, do you still count Byron as a Kiwi?
Well, yeah, I'll catch up with Byron tomorrow, and I'll just see how his accent's going, and
it's still there.
We'll see how he goes.
Still there, annoying people over there.
Good to see he hasn't changed anything.
No, it hasn't changed one bit. But he's going very well, of course. I wish you the best of luck tomorrow. It'd be lovely if you could win the Sunline Vase.
Before he goes,
yeah,
Steve wants to do a couple of Cheerios, right? I've been barred from the Cheerios, which I'm not really happy about. Our guests cannot come on and send Cheerios if I've been barred. What's going on? You've got a couple of Cheerios?
I've got a couple of Fair Dingham Cheerios, yeah. And,
so why can't I do Cheerios?
Well, management said you're not allowed this year.
Management said.
Management. You want to argue with management? You can argue with management. I don't care.
I don't want to do them anyway.
But management said nothing about Steve McKee. So Steve, go right ahead.
Yeah, well, nothing about the guests giving out Cheerios. Is that right, Malcolm? You're happy with that?
Yes.
So, yeah, first one goes to Christchurch, Ritchie, otherwise known as Egg Roll. He's
Egg Roll.
Egg Roll.
Geez, Miracle's a better nickname than that.
Last time I saw him, he was about 140 kilos. He's had a few bacon and egg rolls. So
I wouldn't like to
egg roll, and also my farrier, Derek Melander, and a couple of Cheerios for those guys.
Got a clean sweep with the farrier.
There you go.
Very important.
It all starts at the feet. Yep.
You just made that up, didn't you?
Yep.
It all starts at the feet.
Yep.
It's like, this is television, bring your own stuff.
It starts at the feet.
Steve?
Actually, Greg, before the show started, for the pre-taping, Malcolm was talking about the fact that he won 49 Group 1s.
Yes.
I never realised Kingston Town won that many.
I won some others. Oh, you're a funny lottie.
We'll take a break. Thanks, Steve McKee, and we'll come back with more guests. Welcome back. It is New Zealand Auckland Cup week here in New Zealand. We're at Ellerslie Racecourse. The big one is on tomorrow, and we're going to talk more about that with our next guest. But first of all, let's turn back time to when the Cup used to be run on New Year's Day. Here's the last horse to win the double, the Auckland Cup and the Melbourne Cup.
And Aerosmith along the inside rail, and it's Aerosmith shot to the lead for months though from Jezebel. He's got a decent break, Aerosmith. Here's Jezebel trying to pull it back. Last Celine couldn't win. Aerosmith on the inside. Jezebel's coming out at 2-1. These two are going to fight the Cup out with North Lady third. Jezebel on the outside holding. Jezebel has beaten Aerosmith. Third at the line, North Lady, then followed Last Celine.
Opie Bosson winning the Auckland Cup back in 1998.
What a fantastic horse, Jezebel. Auckland Cup.
She was very good.
She was outstanding. Melbourne Cup, fantastic.
Let's introduce our next guest of the day.
Good old days, the honest man, the restless heart, the promised land, a subtle kiss that no...
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michael Walker. Now,
You know what?
what?
For a fleeting second then,
Yeah.
I thought it was me. I did. Did I look like that? Because that was pretty impressive.
Well, I'll let Michael answer that question. Did that look at all like Malcolm?
Pretty much it wasn't.
Pretty much it was.
We're different colour.
How did he go, though? Just first impressions of what you saw up here on stage earlier.
I was probably more disappointed in George having to Google the words and the actions about it being a Māori from New Zealand, and I'll take my head off to you. Done very, very well.
Yeah, very
Thank you, Michael.
Now, congratulations. That Derby win on the weekend is a race that they're going to be talking about here in New Zealand for a long time, and if he brings that form to Australia, I think we'll be talking about him as well.
Yeah, most definitely. He was obviously superb on the weekend, and you know, it'd be good if this horse can go to Sydney and do it in the races over there also, because Jimmy Shue has It's a Done Deal, Silent Achiever, Lion Tamer. A lot of our horses that have competed in the Derby and done well, won it, have gone to Australia and proven that our 3-year-old classic, the Derby, is up with the best, because they've gone to Australia and competed very well. So in my mind, I think this horse can.
Importantly, the start of the race didn't work out for you as what originally was planned. You're a little bit slow to move, and instead of being up in front, you were right up the back, so different plan.
Yeah, well, everyone before the race, not including myself, but everyone else thought I was going to lead.
Yeah.
Well, not one interview or to one single person did I ever say I was going to lead. I always stated I was going to do my thing. And by me doing my thing, my plan A was to obviously lead,
Yep.
which everyone thought. I didn't. I just was doing my thing. And my plan B was, because they're all out there riding against me, they'll come out of the gates, or the other jockeys, and ride like they're in a Newmarket or in a railway or a telegraph. And sure enough, they did. So I let them go to the first corner, and my horse, he doesn't like horses in front of him. So he wanted to get a little bit fired up, but I just made him know that he wasn't going yet. But I knew once they wouldn't see me in front, they'd be looking at each other going, well, where is he, where is he, where is he? And I knew there would be some point in the race where they'd drop anchor because I'm not in front. So everyone's still worrying about me at the 1400. Well, I'm just sitting back second last. Uprising Romance is behind, knowing where she is, and obviously the second horse to beat. And if you actually watch the replay, when George says in his call, the speed has just come off in the race, on that exact time, you'll see me pull out. It was like George told me where to go.
You're telling George? George says yes if he can have the 10%.
I knew that they would drop anchor, and I was that confident in my horse that he was superior than all of those horses that he'd win.
And did you get around nice and easy? Did you feel like you were so comfortable?
Easy. We probably were doing sort of 14-2 speed-wise, like just a little bit quicker than even time. And when I went past him, I probably got to the tops maybe 12.5, 13, which for that horse is a breath of fresh air. He just does it easy.
Could he be the best horse you've ever ridden?
I think so. I definitely think he's the best I've ridden. Up until getting on that horse, a little horse that Stephen Aldridge and Graham Robertson trained, a little girl called Tattletale. I thought she was the best I'd ridden. Unfortunately, she passed away, but I think this horse could be the best horse and take me to places that I've always dreamed of and I haven't been to yet. But like it's a done deal with James McDonald. Yeah. This could be my horse.
Tell you what he did, Michael, on the weekend. On Saturday, on the weekend. He did something you never did. He rode in pain.
Oh, no, I would have sat down for sure and certain. I would have, same as that earthquake, I would have hidden somewhere. Some weird stuff's happened over here.
You've hurt your back in a race earlier in the day. Going to the barriers, you pulled your back out.
And the horse won, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. But that was prior to the race. Just take us through that.
Yeah, I rode the horse earlier on that I won on of Wayne Hillis's, and he stated to me beforehand, before I got on, that the horse is fierce and look out, it can bolt. I was flying to the start, hands up everywhere, out of control, trying to stop it. I could not stop it. And the Atiaka horse that Matthew Cameron was on, he had just stopped, and I said to him, I'll see you back at the jockey's room, I'm bolting. But I got in front of him, and my horse actually stopped, and so I was able to pull him up. Didn't feel anything in my back then. Wasn't until halfway up the straight I had to ride the horse left hand, and my style was okay, and then I give him a hit and I felt something just tweak in my back, and I knew I was in trouble straight away. And coming to the jockey's room, I was in a fetal position and I was in pain. Don't like to say it, but I was more or less crying. It was the most painfulest thing I've felt in my life, and I feel for females that go through labour. It was painful. It was the worst thing I've ever felt in my life.
So, girls, Michael's assuming he knows what it's like to go through trial birth.
Well, I've actually had someone who had the same thing happen to their back, a lady from Wiley, and she said it was, when she did her back, it was worse than childbirth. So I must have been on the right page, because honestly, I was sweating. I couldn't get up. I couldn't walk.
You're in tears, and you've got a derby to ride in, what, 2 or 3 races later?
Yeah, it was like 3 or 4 races later, and the doctor asked the stewards if I could stand down for my next ride and take a couple of races off. The steward said no, if he gets off them, he has to get off everything. Well, I wasn't letting that happening, so maybe me being a little bit smart as yourself, Miracle, I just said I can't make the weight on the next ones. Yep. So I was able to take a couple of races off and pull myself together for the derby, but I would have going out there, looked at the derby, looking like I was ready to, or I'd had crap in my pants. So I was in that much pain.
How much pain? So you're on that horse, Pacini, going to the gates, and you're in pain.
I thought
you should be back in the room.
I thought adrenaline would, once the adrenaline would kick over, but I wasn't nervous. I don't get nervous, so I just went out there and I was so nervous that I was still feeling. I mean, so relaxed that I was still feeling the pain. That's why I got. Yeah, it's good.
It's good. That's good. You don't.
I don't think it's good. No,
I got acupuncture and cupping done on it yesterday, and I'm booked into this lady I've never seen this afternoon at 4:30. They say she's a miracle doctor, miracle witch they call her. So they reckon she'll get me right.
She's a witch.
That does witchcraft.
Must hit me with a broomstick. I'm not sure, but I'm supposed to get. I'm there at 4:30 this afternoon, and hopefully
so
I'll be right.
So she could be doing, ringing bells and cymbals and voodoo dolls and
smoke. They have smoke and that. They do that thing and that.
The pins in the dolls.
Ooh.
She can do anything as long as it gets me
right.
As long as it works.
As long as it works, that's right.
So, and you said you're in more pain today after the acupuncture. It really hurts.
Yeah, well, I did the acupuncture yesterday, and they put these machines on it that they pulse your muscles, which I've never had before, because I've actually had the acupuncture before. I've never had these machines as well, and then the cupping, and I was good. I walked out of there fine. was fine last night, went to bed, slept brilliant, and I woke up this morning and couldn't get out of bed. So took a few painkillers to get here, and
Geez.
yeah,
Mate, no one, you know, see, that's why I retired early. I can't understand these stories.
Well, we're going to see you in Sydney on this horse. He'll come for the Rosehill Guineas in the Australian Derby.
Yeah.
It's going to take a very special Australian 3-year-old to beat this horse.
Most definitely. If this, I've talked to Peter and Jacob since the horse thinks he hasn't even been around.
Yeah.
The horse ate everything. Even after the line, he didn't blow. He could have won another lap. The horse is thriving with racing, and hopefully the Australians got a horse to match him, because in my mind, I believe he can go over there and replicate what he's done here. He's a very, very good horse. As long as he travels, gets there and does everything right, they're going to have a good horse to beat him.
A bit further on, do you think potentially he could be a Cox Plate horse?
Most definitely.
Yes.
I said I'm on the table with Shaune Ritchie, and the horse of his father's, him and Bonecrusher and Waverley Star, when they went out neck and neck for the last 1,000 metres. You seen what that horse can do there from 1,200 out. Imagine a horse like him getting around Moonee Valley and 1,000 metres,
rolling around Moonee Valley,
and then 1,000 metres out. You let him rip, they won't catch him. And I'm just pray to God that I can stay on him, and I'm the one there that is doing it. I honestly think he's that good.
Big
Well, he's very exciting. Yeah. You're riding tomorrow?
Yep. Yeah, I got 4 rides late in the day. I only took 4 just to see how I am. I got a couple of nice rides, and then I've got 8 or 9 on Saturday, and I've got some really nice rides in the Group 1s. One for Stephen McKee, nice South Islander horse in the New Zealand Stakes. I think it's all New Zealand Stakes, the Stone race. Got 9 rides there, and then I'm back on the plane Sunday morning to Melbourne. My manager rang me, and David Hayes wants me back there for Monday at Moonee Valley, so straight back into riding at Moonee Valley on Monday.
Okay.
I hope everything works out with the witch.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I hope it all works out.
I could be walking out there, walking backwards, but no. I'm looking forward to it, and I just hope that she can do something miracle with me, as your name, Miracle, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I love being back in New Zealand. I love seeing all the familiar faces, the owners, the trainers, and the support that they give me back here is amazing, and hopefully it continues the day that I do decide to move back to New Zealand.
Yeah, isn't that great? Isn't it great to come home and ride a Group 1 winner? That must be as special as it gets.
Most definitely, especially there was that much pressure on me being on the favourite. The pressure didn't worry me, but last time with Military Move, he wasn't one of the favourite runners, so I just went out there and did my thing, and he won. This time, I was the favourite, so, and after all my pre-race interviews of saying I was just going to do my thing, there were so many eyes on me wondering what I was going to do.
Yeah.
Even the jockeys out there were wondering what I was going to do. No one knew. So.
Well, speaking of Military Move, stay with us, because we're going to introduce the trainer of Military Move after this break. Shaune Ritchie's going to join us next. Stay with us, live from New Zealand, off the rails.
Meteorite really shifted its ground, and Montero's darted through. Pav is following it through. Montero and Pav at the furlong pole, and right down the outside, Electrician and Royal Occasion stretched across the track. Royal Occasion out very wide, and also Iron Meteorite, High Grace, Pav off the rails. They're all there, but High Grace has squeezed through to win. High Grace has won from Iron Meteorite. Photo third, off the rails, Pav, Royal Occasion, Montero, Shikra.
He ran third, our mighty little horse Off the Rails for Top Line Thoroughbreds and Robbie Woods. He was going to run 8th on the home turn, but he fought back. Just, you know, like the big heart that you've got, the horse that we refer to as Malcolm, Off the Rails, he really started to...
He'll win very shortly.
He'll win again. Yeah. And there's a lady, Lorraine and Gary. Wave, Lorraine. Lorraine there. Their horse is called Loves the Show, with Johnny Wheeler. Okay? Just go back to Lorraine. Go back to Lorraine, that shot. Now, see that bloke there?
Tony,
wave, Tony. That's
wave
my
to your
brother.
mum.
That is my brother Tony, who now lives in Auckland. Wave to Mum.
Wave to Mum, Tony.
And Dad.
Good work.
There you go. Good on you. Grey hair's a curse, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest.
Shaune Ritchie honed his training craft under the tutelage of his father Frank, and through a lot of hard work is now at the top of his game.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shaune Ritchie. You've been on the show before, but I think you're in a cold mounting yard in Brisbane, weren't you?
Well, it wasn't cold, but it was,
a bit hot,
beautiful sunshine there. But it's hard trying to get some banter with you guys when you're looking straight at a camera.
It is.
Yeah,
It's hard. It's hard to get banter in it at the best of times, but it'll be a bit easier today.
Exactly.
We've spoken about Sunline, but we can't have a trip to New Zealand without talking about Bone Crusher. And do you ever get sick of talking about the great horse?
No, never. A bit like Miracle here with
Yeah.
Kingston Town. You know, they're your lifeline, aren't they, to the game?
This is the race Michael's talking about. You know, the day that Bone Crusher and our Waverley Star, two great Kiwis, taking off, you know, so far from home, and Michael's saying that, you know, maybe his horse could do something similar. We went there thinking this was going to be a great race. No one could ever have dreamed that that race would pan out the way it did.
Exactly. I think the media build-up was amazing before it. I mean, they were not a lot different to the Derby just run on Saturday here in New Zealand. You know, two totally dominant horses who showed exactly how courageous and how great they were. And I saw Dave O'Sullivan commenting recently when he was talking about the Hall of Fame dinner not so long ago about how Waverley Star running second was one of his great training achievements that day.
How old were you?
I was 17 when I was leading the horse around the birdcage, yeah.
It's the second best Cox Plate I've ever seen.
Is it?
What's wrong with that?
You know what you did? You know what you did in your Cox Plate?
No.
You sat
and steered him.
and steered.
You could have won on him. You could have won on him that year. Yeah, but it's the second best I've ever seen.
How is he?
He's terrific. Still alive. Yeah, he's 31. He's showing his age. Wow. He's got a little dip in his back, but he's rising 32, and he's currently about 20 minutes from where we are now in Takanini, not far from Stephen McKee's stable.
And he's got a lovely paddock, but he doesn't make too many. Well, he doesn't make any public appearances anymore. He's
not anymore. No, you get the odd camera crew go out and admire the horse, and he gets in the papers and the news quite a bit, as he does. But isn't it amazing, a horse who showed that much courage and used his heart to the capacity that he did to still be alive at this age?
Amazing.
Yeah, incredible.
He deserves to be alive, doesn't he?
Look at this.
I can't get sick of watching this, and I can't listen to Bill.
100 out, Bone Crusher, our Waverley Star, stride for stride, nothing in it. Our Waverley Star, the rails, Bone Crusher the outside, and Bone Crusher races into equine immortality. $1.5 million as he takes.
Bill Collins will always be remembered for that wonderful call. He'll be remembered for the Bone Crusher call. He'll be remembered for saying Kingston Town can't win.
That's right.
But one of his best calls and one of Bone Crusher's best wins was the day he nosed out at Tallock in the Australian Cup, which was a few months later in the next year. That day when he said, oh, dead heat, oh, no, he said Bone Crusher, no, it might be a dead heat. Now that day we saw, I mean, if there was any doubters about Bone Crusher, he dispelled them all.
That's right. Look, I think it was well publicised at the time. The horse went through a lot in Japan, and we nearly lost him in Japan. The two horses, Waverley Star and Bone Crusher, went up to compete in the Japan Cup. He got a lung infection, and his temperature went through the roof, and he nearly died. And we got him back from that. He won a flying mile here in New Zealand against inferior opposition. And then to pick up at Tallock in the last 200 took every little bit of ounce of energy to get him on the line. But he got him on the line, and that showed what a true champion he was. And Bill Collins' call, as you say, was remarkable.
It was great that day.
It lifts the whole thing, doesn't it? It makes it theatre when they call that well.
What about watching that Cox Plate? What about the whip reels today? Michael, did you notice the whip reels there? There were none. No. Wherever there was fur, they were going to hit him. And that's what happened. That's what happened in those days.
How were you in your day?
Not as good as...
No, he was just pretty.
I was pretty.
He was pretty.
I was
we talked about the Derby, you two combining to win a Derby. That was a special day for you both, wasn't it, Michael?
Yeah, it was. I don't know if Shaune remembers, but at the Novotel check-in up here, I seen Shaune the night before, and he's a bit nervous. I said, what are you nervous about? Do you remember me saying to you, we're going to win the Derby tomorrow?
Except I was at the backpackers down the road, you were in the Novotel.
I actually said to Shaune the night before, and to your father, and Frank was there as well, I said to them, we're going to win the Derby tomorrow. I was that confident, even though he was 10 to 1 or something?
Yeah, he was.
I said, we'll win the Derby tomorrow. I galloped the horse once on the Tuesday, I think it was, before the Derby, and he gave me that good a feel at Cambridge, and I was so confident, I just thought I'd win the Derby on.
Was he a good horse? Was he a good
Well,
horse?
he probably wasn't the best. He wasn't the best ever Derby winner for sure. In fact, he probably wasn't the best horse in that race. We had a bit of luck with him. He drew barrier 2. Michael gave him a superb ride. He came off the fence, kicked at the top of the straight, and held the 2 favourites who were back and in trouble at a given time. And I had Glorious Lad in the Derby on Saturday. And at the 500, I had the same feeling. I thought, geez, we might pull off a Derby here with a horse who's got the cutest run in the race and perhaps not the best in the race. Rising Romance, we all know, was giving them a big start, and Puccini had to do a little bit of work. But it wasn't the case. We were the 3rd best horse in the race Saturday, and that's where we finished.
What's the fine for poking the tongue out over here? You know, the celebratory gesture. They get fined for the waving of the whip. What about tongues over here? Anything?
No, nothing. People don't like it, but Craig Williams and Michael Rodd did an Aussie. No one says anything, so
They do too.
It's a cultural thing.
it's for me. It's a culture thing. It's about a bit who I am, and you know what I believe in. So yeah, it's just something different. But in Australia, I'd rather do that than go.
So I'd like to see that too. Carrying on like that, waving the whips. What do you reckon?
Glenn Boss.
It's theatre.
What do you think of Bossy doing what he does? Like he is adamant that that's what he likes to do. I mean, one day he's going to be put out. He'll be put out by the stewards.
Well, they'll keep doing it, I believe, until there's such a deterrent that'll stop them from doing it.
You did it back in You did it in the Cox Plate.
I got fined 500 in 1979 for a monkey in 1979.
And they're still getting fined 500.
Yeah, 500,000. Glenn's charges have gone up each time, and I'm pretty adamant the next time he does it, they're going to put him out.
Yeah.
So that's why you wouldn't have seen him do it for a while. They said that next time he does it in Melbourne, that they were going to suspend him. So.
Well, in Hong Kong they encourage it.
Oh,
they do
exactly.
encourage it, but the rule here, the law here is you're not to do it. And
Australia encourage it though.
Is it?
Like
Well,
racing public, they encourage
well,
it.
after the line, it's okay.
Yeah, after the line, a stride past the line, you can do a somersault if you want.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Don't tell him
No,
that.
don't do it.
Don't tell him that.
I'll wreck more than my back.
You might be doing somersaults after that, which gets you later in this afternoon. But yeah, stride before the line, no. Stride after you're fine.
Yeah.
Your stable's going really well, isn't it?
It is.
You're having a great run.
Yeah, we've got a nice top end team at the moment. We've got a chance in the Oaks next week, and you know, our top 5 or 6 horses are running in the better races, which is always pleasant.
And you've got great chances over the next few days, Wednesday,
We've
Saturday?
got a couple tomorrow, and we've got a nice 2-year-old of the Way You Are 2-year-old filly in the Diamond Stakes Group 1 race on Saturday, and you know, she's a good filly. She'll be a nice chance for sure, and we'll perhaps take Glorious Lad to Queensland this year for the Derby. We're not going to go and run it at Puccini. We're not quite good enough for that, but I think Queensland will suit the horse.
What about the championships in Sydney? Pretty exciting, aren't they?
They are, but you have to have an exciting horse too.
Oh, my word.
Yeah. And
my
you know,
you don't like taking our money over there, do you?
No.
Much.
I don't mind
You
taking
love
your sunshine in Queensland. It's all right.
That's right.
You're hoping to be there, of course, for the championships, the 2 days at Randwick. You'll be there for the Derby, of course, but you'd like to pick up as many rides as you can in the big races?
Yeah, most definitely. I was already going to Sydney. As you know, I ride a lot for Nigel. We were taking a team there. A few other horses that I'm riding in Melbourne are going to Sydney, so I was already going, but now I can actually go there with a favourite in a Derby and a Guineas, and a horse that looks really special, so I'm really looking forward to it, and fingers crossed.
Well, he is. He's favourite for the Derby, Puccini, and he might be able to do it. Yeah.
It's a great win.
I just want to thank Gerard Boyle, who has organised our show over here. How long does it take to get from, say, the airport in Auckland
to here?
How?
Normally,
No,
how long does that take?
no traffic?
25 minutes.
25 minutes.
Yeah.
So, what, 2.5 hours is a little bit long?
Fraction.
Yeah.
Geez, it really knows Auckland, this bloke. Oh,
He really knows what.
what a great... I tell you what, I hope he's very good at his job at the tab, because he's not going to get a job as a taxi driver.
But he made it up last night when he took us to dinner. That was an outstanding restaurant.
Jared took us last night up the tower to the Orbit restaurant, and we got to see all of your beautiful city. It is remarkable.
Fantastic. Yeah, it was very, very nice. And the food was excellent. It was a very good night.
Malcolm had soup.
I did have
like-
soup.
It's like going away with your mother.
Well, I watch my kitchen rules now, so I'm an authority on food now. Presentation. I said, this is presented beautifully, Radley.
But then he was putting marks up in front of the waiters.
Yeah.
That's an 8.
Well, the alcohol may have had something to do with that.
So it looks like we're going to back the 2-year-old in the Diamond Stakes.
Yeah, weigh in. Should be a nice each way chance.
And we're going to keep backing Puccini, and we'll just back him in the Derby and back him in the Rosehill Guineas.
Yeah, obviously I wouldn't be... I'm confident that he'll run well. I'm not going to say he's going to win, but I still think he's the best I've ridden, and I hope he does it.
Yeah. Good luck with the back.
The witch.
The witch.
The witch.
You'll know if I'm riding tomorrow or not.
Yeah.
How she went.
I just hope you make it out of there alive. I just hope and good luck with the stable, Shaune, too.
Thanks very much.
Here's what's coming up. We've got this is all the racing that's coming up around Australia and New Zealand over the next 7 days, and of course tomorrow is the big one, the Auckland Cup, and again on Saturday another big day, great Derby day, and next Saturday Australian Cup in the Newmarket at Flemington.
Fantastic.
And the Chipping Norton will be at
Sydney.
In Sydney, and we've got through a whole show without mentioning El Rocker. Sorry about that.
Sorry, you didn't want to mention El Rocker.
On behalf of Ray and the stewards and everyone in Australia, we're sorry about that. Thank you so much for coming here, everyone. We've really loved being here. Thank you to the New Zealand Racing Board and New Zealand Thoroughbred Marketing and the tab over here, the New Zealand tab. We might have a few bets before we go just to help the economy out.
On the way, we do that. Yeah, that's what we do. We just try and help. Thank you.
Thank you to our earlier guests, Steve McKee, Mark, and George. You're
George.
fantastic. You're fantastic, Georgie.
Next time I come, George, I'm going to get some colours. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to get a sleeve done or something. Yeah.
Oh, get a body, he said. What a way to end. Thank you, guys. And thank you, everyone.
Boys.
Thanks for having us here in Auckland.
Thank you.
We'll see you later.
Yeah.